my channel. I'm Liam. Round 9 is going to be soon upon us. I'm here to give you some trade insights for this week. The main issues is which mid-rookie do we bring in this week? Should we double downgrade? Is there any primos that we should look to target in all the lines? So those are the main questions I'll be going through. Starting off with the rookie question, do we go Poulter, do we go Collier-Dawkins, or do we go Burns? So starting off with what I'm most likely going to do is Poulter. The main reason is flexibility. With buys coming up, mid-forward, to be able to swing in between lines is a very handy option during the buys. And I've utilised that before with last year with the rookies. I found it very handy to have DPP during the buy round. So Poulter is my number one pick with that. Plus he's got an 81 from round 2. Even though he did play North, that score stays in his price range for another 3 weeks. So he's going to be he's going to go off a nice bit of cash. Provide you with flexibility. You can play him as a forward, play him as mid. Probably wouldn't play him on field, but certainly a loophole option if needed. So that's my number one choice. If you are looking to, if you already have him, so it's 5.5% of you do, risky from you, but good work. It's between Collier-Dawkins and Burns. My feeling, I might be different compared to other people, but Burns probably is my number 2. Only reason, I feel like he's got better job security than Collier-Dawkins. Just with Richmond, they got big smashing last week. I feel like they'll be looking to move on some players. I'm a bit worried of Mansell this week myself. But Collier-Dawkins, even though he's got a nice role, Burns, I feel like he's locked into that Saints lineup, and we'll see him in the future. But then again, if you're after role and role specifically, Collier-Dawkins would be a pick. If you're not settled on Poulter, the easy choice you could go is double downgrade to both. That is certainly an option. I am at the moment looking to double downgrade because I don't have enough cash to get up to any primo mid or forward. Or defence, in that matter. Sorry, defenders. But Burns and Collier-Dawkins are certainly 2 that I am looking at and deciphering. Might go the wrong way, but at this stage of the week, Burns is my choice. They've got similar averages, 59, 57. That won't make much of a difference. It's more picking the player that's going to play more games. And Burns will be a little bit more unique. There's a fair few that went early on Collier-Dawkins with his good score in the first week. But time will tell with that, but that's my pick. Out of the mids, hopefully, the only problem is the player I brought in last week, Murray and Mansell, who I think might be out. There's no oval defender rookies that you'd like. Murray, if he gets picked, but he's got terrible job security. Madden's not going to play. Frederick got that sub, which has ruined his score. So it is hard for these. If you want to pick a defender, you're not going to touch Karmas at all. Could go Keane, but it's 192k spent on someone who's not going to average more than 55. Or Parks is another possible option. Out of those 2, Parks I would go if you're absolutely stuck and have to play a defender. Those 2 probably the best. There's They'll play at 300k. James Harms. If you're wanting to slightly go up, I see him possibly being a handy little pick for you guys. I see him averaging about 90 odd and 300 between 85 and 90. Back from injury, got a decent role in a good team. He's going to score a lot of SuperCoach points. So Harms is probably another pick that. Well, here he is. He scored 132 last week. So, and we'll have a handy price rise. So, if you're after the defender, I probably wouldn't go down. I'd probably use a little bit of cash to go maybe one of your dud rookies. Maybe you're a Brockman or even a Mansell. Make the 100k and do a little 100k up of maybe a Highmore if he's stuck on your bench. That's not 100k, that's 200k, but possibly a Kaczynski. His time is probably soon going to be gone, but just hold on with that. He does play North next week, so he could score 100 like he did against the Crows. So there are possible options, but maybe even a Gordon if you haven't traded him. Warner, I probably would like to hold with him playing Collingwood this week, but it will be hard because Rowe, McNeil, Scott all scored that nice 80 score, which you don't, and so it's going to boost their price in the next few weeks. So you don't really want to get rid of them. So it's just a bit of a tough week this week in trading wise. So I feel like it's more getting rid of the dead weight of your team, and even go a pod move, get rid of Warner early. Play your odds with that. Get rid of Kaczynski early, and do that. If you have any defender DPPs, use them to your liking. So on to people that you could bring in this week. If you've got the cash in defence, there are so many options which you can throw a blanket around. Mills has a very nice role in the midfield. Should have gone him over Ridley in hindsight. Averaging 127 last 3. He's a little up and down, but certainly looks like being a keeper in the defence. And his price is pretty similar to what it was at the start of the season. He's going to go out. He's got a lowish break even. He's one that, if you need a defender, certainly want him. Probably wouldn't go Salem, even though I've got him. He's gone up 100k from his starting price. He's probably going to flatten out a little bit, but I do see him being a top 10 defender. But Mills is slightly cheaper for that. Lloyd is another one I'll be wanting to target. He's dropped 100k. He's just cruising along. I feel like Sydney's going to get a lot more ball down there, and as their young kids start to tire throughout the season. So that's... And Doherty and Stewart have been very solid, along with Laird. If you don't have any of them, certainly recommend. So forwards, Zeeble, certainly if you don't have him. He's gone up 340k. I feel like 99.9% of people at the top would have him, so don't need to talk about him. Shai Bolton, who I brought in last week, seems a nice option. Scored 108 in a smashing. Has a nice little role in midfield and goes forward. Kicks goals. Be a bit wary. His scores have been inflated with 6 goals in the last 2 weeks, but he has been a little low on touches, so hopefully that balances out. He can keep kicking his goals, but a bit more possessions. Marshall's an interesting one, because usually you want to cover these big dogs. You want a nice ruck forward link to cover one of these Grundy Gorns throughout the buys, but all of them have the same buy, so it doesn't really make any difference. He'd still probably be a top 8 to 10 forward, and can be, if you do have a Tracy as a ruck forward or anyone else ruck forward, you can swing him to cover any of Gorn or Grundy if they get any injury, so that'll be a big advantage to use, saving a trade with that. So Might give a few weeks for that, but Marshall's certainly an option. Um, at his price, he's slowly coming back. Just be where he might be managed as well with his foot troubles in the past. Zorko, similar Bolton, got a nice little role now with. I keep saying roll, sorry. With Neil out, there's points to be given, so he's certainly one I'd like. And Impey's another one. Even though he's gone up 238, I see him being a top forward in the end. Shame he doesn't have forward defence, otherwise it would be a very handy option. But he's blowing his injury worries away and averaging 100, pretty much 100 in the last 5. Very consistent, and certainly recommended if you want him in your team. Mids, there are stacks. There are so many options. You can throw a blanket over about 10 to 15 of them. Who to pick? I really like Duncan. I really like Taranto, McCluggage, Bontempelli with Dunkley out, Guthrie with Dangerfield out. All those are just ones I want in my team, but at season's end. Taranto maybe not overly wanting, but for his price and what he can do, very recommended. Even Jared Lyons, he's performing the same as he did last year. Always goes underrated. Took Miller, even he's performing. Parrish, any of these top 10 players. Oliver, Merritt, McRae. Walsh had a bit of a down game. 5 Gaff. Mitchell's priced at $5.25. For what he can do, he got scored pretty badly per touch his first few games. So if you're wanting a $5.25 player, certainly Mitchell is an option. Mitchell v Taranto. I would probably go Mitchell for scoring potential, longevity scoring potential. Taranto can be a little up and down, and a little wasteful, same as Mitchell, but any of them would do. Gaff, I'm scared to pick him. Anytime I touch him, he stuffs up. But he, again, has a very nice role. 5 injury worries is probably the thing stopping me picking him at all. So those are probably the options. There's about 10 to 15 of them. If I was going to pick one at this very stage, most likely Bontempelli. He just gets the nice scoring. I had him last year. He seems to get a touch, and you check the scores, and that touch is worth a point more than anyone else's touches. I know it's not the case, but it just feels like that way. Seeing his score roll, it's similar to a Dusty, similar to a Dangerfield, and Neil. Those touches seem to be worth a lot more than what other people get. But Bontempelli is probably my number one pick at this very stage, especially with Dunkley out. There's so many points to be given around. So that's my trade talk for round 9. I hope you've all got something out of it. Good luck with your trades this week. I'll be back with my trades on Thursday. As I said, I'm looking at a double down. And also, thanks for your support over my start of my YouTube channel. I've gained 50 subs, which is I didn't expect it. But if you aren't subscribed and you're still here, it'd be a pleasure if you could subscribe. It would mean a lot, and aiming to get to 100 sooner rather than later. But till then, have a good week, and I'll catch you later.